Well, I'm standing here in one of these spots that I've dreamed of hunting for a long time. A long, long time, actually. And I don't know how you can think of Western Wyoming without your mind drifting to big mountains, sage, snow, and old mule deer bucks. And that's what I'm here looking for. One of the things that has intrigued me so much and why I've waited and waited to apply in this location is I know this is a migration hunt. And I'm a huge fan of the Wyoming Migration Initiative. When you learn what these mule deer go through and how important these migration corridors are, where thousands of deer rely on that corridor when they migrate from all the way over to way west of here by Jackson Hole in that country. And they come all the way down. They're gonna come right through here. And then they're gonna keep going out into the red desert country. And you think about all the hurdles they have to go through. They go through subdivisions and across highways and over fences. And these deer, they need us. They need our voice, they need our advocacy. Because as human pressures put more and more demand on that landscape, these corridors become that much more vital. That's why I'm here. I want to experience this. I hope when you watch this episode, you put it in the context of how critical these landscapes are for these things that we love. In this case, the mule deer of Western Wyoming. Our drive down here, we stopped in a town and met with a young guy, Aiden. You see the challenges that life has dealt Aiden. And I take such great motivation from people like him. He's just a teenager and he's got all these challenges to deal with. And he is just on fire about hunting. And he's taken antelope, he's taken elk, he's taken mule deer. Aiden, I don't know if you'll watch this, but if you do, I want you to understand how much you motivate me. It means a lot to me, buddy.
1, 2, 3.
I get to do a lot of cool things in this job, and those kind of things are the coolest. That was special. All right, deer, here deer.
So when you show up in a place like this and you've never hunted it before, a big part of it is just driving around trying to find, all right, this is what I saw when I did my e-scouting on OnX. Is this really what it looks like when I get here? And we got here late the first day and really it was just bahaing around trying to learn every road, every trailhead in that 2 or 3 hours. And I told the camera guys, I'm like, you know, we need to go out on that point right there. That point out there, we're gonna be able to see forever from out there.
Well, we pulled up to this spot to glass and there's a group of hunters down here working on a buck. So you guys stay up here if I run down there?
Sure enough, they've got this really wide 3x3, heavy, just a beautiful buck. Just, you look at that buck and you say, you know what? This is the kind of badass buck that I came here looking for. He's lived through terrible winters, avoided all kinds of predators, made it through some hunting seasons. He's done this migration multiple times. What an amazing animal. As I looked at it and listened to him talking and the chatter and the excitement, it brought me back to the days of You know, when I was hunting with my dad and grandfathers, and there were multiple generations of us, and they only had one tag among them because this is a very hard tag to draw. But they brought a whole group of people. They were having a blast.
Well, we're about ready to get a winter storm. They called for it starting this evening, and you can see it blowing in here behind me. Going to be strong winds. The temperature is supposed to drop from 53 was the high today, they said. Tomorrow the high is supposed to be 23, I think, 27. The question always comes is, does a weather change like that help or hurt things? I'm of the opinion it's going to help.
So to show up here the first day and have marked the spot on my map that said this is the glassing location based on everything I know about how this funnel worked for this migration corridor, to look and see that some other guys had taken a really, really nice buck. I'm like, you know what, Newbert? Maybe all that e-scouting you did, maybe there's going to be some validity to it.
Whew. It is windy. You guys ready for this?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Michael says he's ready for it.
I'm ready.
Jonathan's ready for it. I guess I'll be ready for it by the time we get out there. We got about an hour drive, but against this wind it might make for a 2-hour drive.
Well, that first full day of hunting, we got out there early, and I told the guys, we got to get there so that we can just continue to drive around. There's so much of this long corridor, this long migration area, that we got to go and just check it out. And fortunately, as you can see, we've got the benefit of snow that is allowing us to see tracks, to see what's moving through, what hasn't moved through. The beauty of this hunt is I think there's only, I don't know, there's just 15 or 20 tags. There's not a lot of tags. I had maximum points. If you know how Wyoming works, there's a point system. That means I've flunked out 13 years to build 13 points. So in my 14th year, I finally drew. And even before that, I think I applied here in Wyoming for 12 years prior to that. I think this is like my 26th year applying for deer in Wyoming. So I'm gonna milk this for all I can. And I don't care if it snows or what it does, but this to me is, like I said, just an experience to come and learn about these deer, this migration corridor. The first day of driving around, like all our hunts, is usually a scouting day as much as it is a hunting day. And we ended up seeing some decent deer. There was one, he wasn't very wide, but he is super heavy. And in most other places, I'd have been scrambling down that hill, running across that sage and getting in a shooting position.
I guess while the visibility's bad, I'll just keep learning more roads and learning more roads so that when it clears, I know where every road goes to, and where all the good lookouts and glassing points are. Nothing else you can really do right now.
Well, folks, day one of hunting is a wrap. We're heading in. We're gonna go get warm, get something to eat, get some gas in the truck. I'll be right back here tomorrow for day 2 of hunting.
over to here. Second day, we get out here and we're in the morning, we're out here before the sun is up, and here comes this truck driving down the road, and out in front of it runs this really nice buck right in the headlights between us and him. I'm like, holy crap, I don't know how good that buck is, but in the headlights he sure looked big, which, you know, always in the headlights they look bigger. And so I'm waiting for the daylight to get here, waiting, got my spotting scope, I'm glassing out in this country. And finally he pops up way out there about, I don't know, 3/4 mile away. Look at that thing. Oh my gosh. I'm standing there trying to figure out what should I do? What should I do? Another vehicle came up, and he's a local, he's got the tag, he's had the tag before. And I showed him what I was looking at in my scope. And he says, that's big enough for me. I said, well, go get him. Off he went. And it was fun to watch him. He was out there chasing this buck. I don't think the guy could see, but the buck snuck way out to the southeast, and this guy was kind of thinking it was going to be more on the west. And but it's fun to talk to other tag holders, and everybody's, yeah, I've seen this, I've seen that. So we were standing in this one spot glassing, and here comes this truck flying past us. I waved to him, and all of a sudden they hit the brakes and they do a donut right in the snowy county road there, and they come back, and they're young guys, and the one guy, he turned out to be Austin, and his partner Ty in the passenger seat, and asked them, what are you guys doing out here? Oh, we had some time off, so we just come out here this time of year and we watch the deer migrate through. We take video and photographs. And I showed those guys a picture of the buck from this morning that ran through the headlights. We'd done some phone scoping, and they're like, nah, you'll see something bigger than that. So hopefully that's comforting to know. I've been sitting at this place for about 2 hours. A really nice buck out here, a couple nice bucks over there, but I think we're gonna go for a change of scenery, drive up on this hill. There's a good glassing knob up there. Yesterday we saw a nice buck. Just keep moving and looking, moving and looking. I glassed all morning. I knew that the deer probably would push through in the dark, and you'd see maybe in the first hour or two, you'd see deer moving. But once they got through here, then it's like, all right, where'd they go? How many pushed through in the dark that I never saw, you know, at 2 in the morning or something? So the strategy was to then make big loops out here where they start dispersing to their winter range, and just go and go and go and drive and glass and go and drive and glass and see what you could find out that way. And we saw a lot of does, we saw some younger bucks, but haven't had that great of luck out there, other than if you consider it luck to put a lot of scratches in your truck, bounce around. Come on, dear. Where are you? We're hoping that before the end of shooting light, which is in about 45 minutes, that we get some visibility, because about a half hour ago, sucked down. So if it clears off, maybe this is the evening. It's supposed to be 10 below in the morning. It's 5 below.
The deer are up on their feet trying to stay warm, or they're bedded trying to stay warm. Whatever it is, we got today and we have tomorrow. And if we don't find one, well, we're gonna have a lot of fun trying. Stay tuned. I'm cold, I'm turning my thermostat back on.
Well, we're here waiting for it to get light, and it is 14 below zero. Fortunately, no wind right now. A lot of deer tracks crossing the road on the way in this morning, so hopefully this cold weather has them moving. It's gonna be clear, 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 so glassing visibility shouldn't be an issue today. So, let's go get one.
You know it's cold when your eyelashes start freezing.
Kind of an interesting hunt. There's so few tags, but a lot of locals come out here just because they want to see the deer migrating. We've met some really nice people out here. They're all very, very nice and helpful. And so I enjoy that part of it, actually. There's two guys who've been regulars out here. They know we stay up here in Glass all day and they stop by and visit. This morning they're just flying across that flat down there. Something tells me they see our truck up here. Along comes Austin and Ty, and with Ty and Austin is Ty's wife Keisha is with them today. And they bring donuts and all kinds of treats.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa. Look at this.
You requested.
Oh my gosh. And that's the fun of being out here doing this hunt. It's crazy how friendly people have been and just how helpful they've been. I've really enjoyed that, but the clock is ticking. So we jump in the rig. There's roads everywhere out here, so you cover the ground by driving, get to a knob and glass, drive to the next knob and glass, and we're driving down this little drainage. And I look, I'm like, whew, whew.
Boy, that's a nice buck.
I got out and I watched him for the longest time, but just, I don't know. It was really, really hard not to shoot that biggest one. I mean, really hard.
It's just a beautiful, beautiful buck that I think in another year or two, you give him another year or two and he's gonna be a fantastic buck. He's got everything. He's not that heavy, but he's got decent width, he's got good forks.
And so I'm sure some people see that footage, they're like, Nibbard, you're an idiot. But it just, no, wasn't what I was looking for. So, go back up to our glassing knob and just keep glassing and glassing. And we're sitting up there doing all we can to try to find a deer. And one of the camera guys, he finds this 3-point. I don't know how many days we'd seen this 3-point. He's a younger deer, he doesn't have the mass. I can't imagine what kind of buck he's gonna be. If you give him another 2 or 3 years, he's gonna be a great, great buck. And so I told the guys, you know what, let's jump in the rig. Let's go make some more big loops out in these areas. The locals call it the rock piles out there. We've been tearing the truck up out there every day. See a few deer, nothing spectacular. Come back up to our glassing spot up here. Austin and Ty and Keisha come up and they talked to us, and we told them we just made a big loop out in the rock piles out there. And they said, well, we're gonna go out there also. And from up here, you can just see vehicles driving around out there. And they drive out there and they disappear, and I'm thinking, you know, we just drove down that road. What are they doing? They've been out there for a long time. So we jump in the rig, come over the first rise. I can see their pickup parked out there, and then I see them on their spotting scopes over to the left. So
Looks like they're looking at something.
Looks like it. They were just over near us. We were BSing them. I said, oh, we're gonna go drive around out here, and so we'll see what they're doing. I don't know
what do you guys got going on? And like, look at the spotter, see what you think. So
there's a pretty nice deer there. But I just have this weird thing about, if I'm not the one who spotted it and found it, that I don't know what to do. But I better make up my mind pretty soon. I go to walk back to the truck and get my pack and get my rifle. I'm probably at least gonna make a stalk. You know, when I saw you guys 4 days ago, I'm really glad you guys did that U-turn and said, hey, that might be Randy Newberg.
I told Tice, let's get out there, let's find somebody with a tag, and let's get out and help some people. That's what hunting is about. It's helping others.
So I told the crew, come on, let's go. And I didn't know if I'd shoot this deer. We start going out there, and there's just really no cover. None really at all. And we're just trying to stay low in the sage, and we're moving. And I'm glassing the deer, and I got 2 camera guys with tripods behind me, and I told them just stay right behind me, and we're gonna kind of go almost straight towards them. And as you start getting out there, you see how many deer are there. See them right between those rocks. I know. We're gonna have to take our chance. I want to go single file. That's our only hope. He's up and feeding away from us right now. And there was this big round rock that the buck was bedded next to. And I look and I don't see him there. And I told the guys, get ready, because I'm ranging that rock and where those does are, and I'm coming up with not very far, like 200 to 220. I see a deer down low that's like 180, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, there he is. You on him? Huh? Where'd he go? Yeah, he's running. There's a smaller buck and then a bigger buck. I'm gonna lean across this rock here.
Where do you want him?
Oh, he's looking at us.
Yep.
Ready?
Yep.
He jumped like he was hit. There he is. He's down.
Way to go.
He's down.
What a rodeo.
What a rodeo is right. Oh my goodness. I saw him tip over. Didn't you?
Yeah. What do you think, man?
Can't believe it. Holy smokes.
We looked over and we could see the 3 of them, Austin and Ty and Keisha over there, and they were pretty excited. And we start walking over to the deer.
A nice buck. I wanted a heavy one.
When you walk up to an animal like that and you think about all that they represent, you have this, I don't know, if you hunt, you know what I'm talking about. You're trying to reconcile all these emotions and thoughts. And I looked at him and all I could think about is this old boy had seen a lot. He had been up and down these migration corridors He'd lived an amazing life. He just represents what productive landscapes can produce, and also represents how important it is that we understand things like these migration corridors. We understand how animals use their winter ranges and their summer ranges and the transition ranges in between. It's hard not to have this feeling of, what can I be doing? How can I help the groups that advocate for wild places and wild things, that are here speaking on behalf of these mule deer? That's what goes through my mind at moments like this. And yeah, there's the excitement of, you know, we set out to come here and tell a story, and we've told this story, and it ended with this great result. But there's also the next chapter to it. And that next chapter is, what's the future of these mule deer? What are we doing to make sure that as we as humans continue to put demands on the landscape because of what we need for resources, how are we going to give a voice to the deer and the antelope and the elk and the sage-grouse and the songbirds and the whatever it is? How are we going to make sure they have their place? Because look at the changes to the landscape, and they're significant. And every one of us have some responsibility for what's causing these changes on the landscape. We all need resources, and that's what's going on here. So when you watch this episode, I hope you think about, what can I do for these deer? What can I do for the wild places and the wild things that need them?
We're about ready to leave Wyoming with a bunch of great meat, a great deer, and some new friends, I hope.
Oh yeah.
I hope you guys ever get to Montana, you'll let us know, or if we ever get down your way.
Oh yeah, come back.
I'll come back anytime they give me a tag.
You guys are fun.
Oh, thank you guys so much. I can't tell you how much.
Thanks for the experience.
Yes.
Thanks so much.
The chance to learn.
The first day they saw us, we were parked along the road, and they went flying by. And they did a donut right in the road in front of us.
I seen you smiling in the window. I was like, that's definitely him. We had to go over there. We had to.
Yeah. So 4 days later, a whole lot of storytelling, and we got this really wonderful Wyoming mule deer to show for it. So,
buddy. Alright, I got 1% battery. That's why I love mule deer, because of the character.
Thanks for watching, folks. Till next time. Hopefully it's not this cold next time.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.